It's been over a year since this channel was founded, and we already have 500 subscribers. We are now about halfway to 1,000. So let's hope this channel will continue growing and prospering for years to come. Thank you all so much. Now, to celebrate this occasion, I want to discuss a subject that I think deserves more attention because it's such a fascinating point in television history. You see, Noggin today is known for Moose and Sea, recycled Nick Jr. shows, and an app that costs $5.99 per month. But before that, Noggin was something more, and in this video we will be taking a look at that. Specifically, we'll see how the channel evolved from 1999, the year of its original launch, to 2003, the year that Moose and Z were introduced. I covered this area in my first video, The History of Noggin, but in this video we will go more in-depth with this not too well known but very interesting point in the brand's history. Noggin? Cool.
Noggin? Cool.
When Noggin launched on February 2nd, 1999, it was a channel aimed at big kids and preteens, similar to Nickelodeon, who created the channel along with the Children's Television Workshop, but more educational. As a result, their initial programming consisted of shows like 321 Contact, Ghost Rider, and Square One Television. It also featured programming for preschoolers from Nick Jr., such as Blue's Clues, Allegra's Window, Eureka's Castle, Franklin, and Gullah Gullah Island. In addition, Noggin aired classic shows such as The Electric Company and Classic Sesame Street aired as Sesame Street Unpaved on Noggin. Other shows aired included Crow, Doug, and 123 Sesame Street, which was a repackaging of various Sesame Street episodes from seasons 25, 30, and 31. There were also many interstitials, such as Deja Noggin, where memorable clips of episodes of The Electric Company and Sesame Street Unpaved were played, The Girl with Her Head Coming Off, which followed the adventures of a young girl and her friends, Head Buzzers, where word puzzles were given for viewers to solve, My Lucky Family, in which kids showed the daily lives of their families, Noggin's Choice, where Noggin users would vote for a classic clip to be aired and the one with the most votes would be aired, Noggin Gold, in which songs from classic episodes would be aired, Nogginoid, in which facts about Sesame Street and other miscellaneous facts would be given, Out of Your Mind, in which drawings and paintings sent into Noggin would be shown, Think Loudly, in which children would give their thoughts on certain issues, and What's in Heidi's Head, in which... well, you'll just have to see it for yourself.
Bugs.
The insect nation is a source of aggravation. Mosquitoes, bees, ticks, roaches, and fleas. Just like a mole, and fills your socks and sweaters with holes. Or you get some ants in your pants, and they make you wanna do a dance. Lots of people don't seem to know it takes bugs to help the flowers grow. Insects lend a helping leg. They're not afraid to pollinate. In South America, they like to eat. Chocolate gardens are considered a treat. And bugs can be beautiful to the eye, like the tiny ladybug or the pretty butterfly.
Yeah, I don't know either. Anyway, Noggin also launched with a website. Here you could vote for certain topics as mentioned earlier, but you could also play games, make comics, interact with Fred, Noggin's mascot, and interact with Skangle and Skangle, two other Noggin original characters. Also, there was the Noggimation station, where you could make your own basic animations and post them on Noggin.com. Speaking of Fred, on July 6th, 1999, he got his own show, Fred on Your Head, where Fred would introduce various Noggin shows and do some... weird stuff.
Mary, Mary, Mary! This is Mary's very own personal theme song.
On the Fred on Your Head show.
That's right, what a PH! Now that your noggin's turned to noggin, let's get noggin along.
On the Fred on Your Head
Let's show with a message. With Mary as your host, we show your favorite shows
And hear about what you know.
and play Big Close to Pluto.
And check out what's online.
Hey, that last one didn't rhyme.
But we mentioned online. It's Noggin.com. So we get a lot of stuff for you to put on the show.
Hello. So let's end this song before it gets too long. Too late, Mary.
Is our host with the most, as you know.
And now, without further ado, coming to you directly from Mary's forehead.
It's the Fred
With the H.
on your head show.
Yeah. Anyway, this was Noggin's first original show, and it wouldn't be the last. In 2000, Noggin received another original series, Oobi. For those of you who don't know, Oobi centers on a hand named Oobi, his sister Uma, and his friend Keiko as they learn about various things and also learn some very valuable lessons with Oobi's grandfather, Grandpoo. It's a bit weird, yes, but it was a Noggin staple up until the channel's demise in 2009. Noggin also saw the release of another original series, A Walk in Your Shoes, where two kids from two different lifestyles swap places for a day. It's an interesting concept, and it's pretty good from what I've seen. Other shows Noggin received in 2000 include The Busy World of Richard Scarry and Bill Nye the Science Guy. One thing you've probably gathered is that Noggin so far has been weird. And I mean really weird. But this is about to change, as around the time that Bill Nye the Science Guy started airing on Noggin, the channel received a major facelift, ditching the psychedelic, wacky 90s styling for a cleaner look that embraced the early 2000s cyber age style that was popular at the time. This isn't to say that Noggin stopped being wacky, quite the contrary, but the wackiness was definitely toned down a little. With this new look came Live at Noggin.com, where art and Noggimations would be showcased for viewers to see on the air. Changes were also made to the Noggin website, including Radio Noggin, where Noggin users could make short music tracks and post them on Noggin.com. These tracks would also be featured on Live at Noggin.com. After the facelift, some of the original bumpers like the Noggin Countdown and some of the original interstitials like Noggin Gold would eventually be phased out. Also in 2000, Noggin on Nick was launched. This was a programming block on Nickelodeon where Nickelodeon viewers were given a taste of what Noggin had to offer, including the shows and Noggimations. In 2001, Noggin introduced the Hubbub, a programming block that focused more on the Noggin website, where users could submit commentary during the show and it would appear on screen. Some of the shows aired on the Hub included Ghostwriter, A Walk in Your Shoes, Bill Nye the Science Guy, and Big Kids, the latter of which was introduced to Noggin in January of 2001. In September of that year, Noggin launched a fall-themed campaign where it introduced some changes. The URL with Fred show, a spin-off of Fred on Your Head, was launched. In this show, Fred would display polls, Noggimations, music tracks, high scores on various Noggin.com games, birthdays of users, and outfits designed on the URL with Fred show studio in Noggin.com. Another notable show introduced was Sponk, where two teams would compete in an improv comedy contest. If you want to learn more about that, I suggest you watch my video about Sponk. Link is in the video description. Other changes included freeform poems where Noggin users could express their feelings in poetry, and stories about history on the Noggin website. In December of 2001, the Hubbub was discontinued. Also in 2001, the Jim Henson Company sold its share of Noggin and its rights to the Sesame Street Muppets to Sesame Workshop, leaving Oobi as the only show for preschoolers on Noggin. This would eventually become quite a problem. So, in March 2002, Noggin manager Tom Asheim announced that Noggin would be divided into two blocks, one for younger children and one for older children and preteens. And so, on April 1st, 2002, everything changed. Now, Noggin was no longer a channel for older kids and preteens, it was a channel for preschoolers, similar to Nick Jr. but with its own Noggin flavor, including the addition of Play With Me Sesame and 123 Sesame Street. Noggin's former audience now had The N, which had many of the old Noggin shows and kinda filled the void that Noggin left behind. However, The N was actually aimed more at teenagers than preteens, and some of the programming included explicit topics like reproduction. But The N is another story for another video. Back to Noggin. Noggin now looked a lot different. It had styling that was clearly influenced by the old Noggin, but with a kind of arts and craftsy aesthetic. Also, Fred was replaced by Feetface, who was definitely the strangest of Noggin's mascots.
Seeing, smelling, hearing, telling something new. New to think and to do.
Yeah. As well as Sesame Street, Noggin aired several Nick Jr. shows, including Little Bear, Franklin, Blue's Clues, Allegra's Window, Gullah Gullah Island, and Kipper. Noggin also received a new Sesame Workshop series called Tiny Planets, where two aliens named Bing and Bong would travel from planet to planet learning about various subjects. Again, kinda weird, but is anyone even surprised at this point? Noggin also received a new interstitial series called And Then What Happened, in which a classic fairy tale would be read and then a kid would give their own ending to the story. Pretty cool, I think. In August of 2002, Sesame Workshop sold its share of Noggin to Viacom, leaving Noggin entirely under Viacom's control. This didn't affect programming, however, and Noggin continued to air Sesame Workshop-produced shows. After all this happened, the creative executives and directors at Noggin decided that now would be a good time to redesign Noggin. So, they toured various schools in New York, and then Amy Friedman, Senior Vice President of Development, decided to model this new style after the preschools they saw. The result of this decision came to be on April 6, 2003, when Noggin was given another facelift. Now, the arts and craftsy styling was increased, giving a really cool and unique aesthetic that really set Noggin apart from its competitors. Also, Feetface was replaced by two new mascots, Moose and Z, and the rest is history. I'm sure I'm not the only one that wishes that Noggin would have kept doing what it had been doing since 1999. I think I would have really enjoyed going to Noggin.com and making Noggimations and freeform poems, playing games, and more. And I'm sorry to say that Teen Nick, the channel that replaced the N, is not like either the N or Noggin anymore. All we have of the pre-2003 era are tapes and recordings, as well as broken websites on the Wayback Machine. Will there ever be another Noggin for big kids? Probably not. But we should be grateful of the time that we did have it, and pass on the memories for decades to come. Let me know in the comments, were you around during the Fred or Feetface eras? If so, what was your experience like? Anyway, thanks for watching, and thank you all so much for 500 subscribers. And as always, stay tuned.
Knock, knock, knockin'.